8 millimeter depth sometimes. You use radio frequency, which is high frequency electricity. It heats up the tissue to 50 to 60 degrees. The effect is transmural. You want a transmural. The effect should be across the wall of the chamber, so that you get that. Sometimes we draw lines between connecting the valve to one of the veins or something to block a circuit. The major part is identifying the circuit, where it is. Sometimes it's very confusing, so you have to map the entire heart and find out. So the system actually makes it much easier. It reduces the cost and time. Yeah. So this was done under general anesthesia, only through veins from the leg.
Now, what you get this map is on the surface of the muscle tissue? Or
yeah, it is. It's all, you are looking at the endocardial and the inside the heart. So it's like a cast of the chambers, what you see here. And yeah.
The inner wall.
Inner walls of the heart, yeah. So this is the left atrium on the left and the right atrium. And we perform it through the veins. So there is nothing on the chest. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to introduce Central Chief Technician. Under Chief Visit 1.
There is no other way. My greetings to you all on the occasion of this inauguration. Though it has been working here for the last 6 months, I know. Dr. Savadula has been requesting me to come over and see this. So I consider it as a visit, not as an inauguration. Okay. Of a wonderful machine that will make our life better. I think all machines are meant to do that, to ease our life and make it better. But this is too complex a machine. Today when Dr. Anis explained to me, I was trying to understand the science and technology behind doing it. And for us, scientists and engineers who are not belonging to your tribe, it's always interesting to look at the technology side of what you are doing. And possibly, I don't know whether I'm very more happier or sad about the part of engineering coming more into medicine. Or scientific equipments coming more into medicine, especially in the domain of diagnostics and treatment. Maybe this is the way the world changes, that you need more and more equipments to probe into systems and understand it. It's also very clear, recently announced, I think 2 days back, the prizes were announced for the physics as well as chemistry. And maybe the others are yet to come, and all are on AI and neural networks domains. And we seems to likely to have the edge between different domains waning out, not making understanding which is what, chemistry is physics or physics is biology, I don't know really. So AI has gone into every domain, and it has now come in a manner that AI is into physics now, AI is into chemistry, and the chemistry Nobel is for synthesis of molecules through the AI process is what they brought them the Nobel this year. And all the veterans of the AI machine learning were awarded the physics Nobel this year. So why I'm saying is the boundaries between engineering and medicine is actually now becoming much lesser. And I have an interest, of course, is into the diagnostics, because we people in rockets do the diagnostics in a great way, especially looking at signals. Measurement is a very important activity in whatever we do. Again, picking the signal, amplifying and analyzing it to make sense out of all of this, and then decipher what exactly is gone with complex circuits, and then make the processes understand it in a manner. As we send probes into space and then diagnosis how it is working very well there or it is working very bad. It is similar to what you do on understanding human machines through its signal analysis. Earlier, I believe the doctors were not looking at the signals in the form of electrical signals and looking at patterns and make signatures out of it, but it was more of a different kind of processes that go into your training to understand what is go wrong with you. But now it has become more of our culture. It looks good to me. For that we can apply those principles of machine learning and AI into it much better than that you can do it in the previous times. I think this is a great growth. Especially the domains like the Quality Care India, which is trying to bring in connectivity across many hospitals. It actually brings, what you bring is actually data, huge amount of data that will come from various sources, the patient data, the healthcare data, the treatment information, the medicine, its effects, etc. And this data is going to be precious in the coming days. I was listening to one of the presentation yesterday in Delhi. I just came yesterday night, late night at Bangalore and traveled early morning today to come here. That presentation was yesterday in the presence of Prime Minister on the plan of various technology domains, what we want to do in the next 25 years. One of the topic was discussed was on the healthcare. How you really look at healthcare in the long 25 years of our journey and how its expansion can really happen. Of course, in addition to many other topics which we discussed. But then here the major topic was really in a country like India, the data-driven healthcare is going to be one of the important domain as identified by them. Of course, this is done by secretaries, not by doctors. So I must admit that they may be well advised by the doctors. But then data-driven healthcare is something very, very important. And to have such a system and to have based on the data that you will be able to interact with the computers or natural language models to in local languages, and then allow patients to interact and then get some sort of advisories or help or treatment advices, etc., which can actually transform our landscapes substantially. For example, if somebody is able to connect to a local hospital through his mobile phone in its local language and then get advisories on many of the health related issues, I think it will be a revolutionary thing to happen, like the digital revolution that has actually happened in India. Possibly this is some steps that are to be taken. But then coming to complex problems of this nature, like the heart issue, heart diseases, machines of this nature becomes very important. Equally important is the diagnostics. For example, Dr. Saudala was talking about Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, where that hospital is going to come up. He just mentioned, not at IAST, of course, not ISRO. That hospital is going to be a research hospital where they are going to work on technologies related to medical care is going to be one of the focus in the research. So there will be half of them will be doctors, half of them will be engineers who is going to work together in that hospital to develop newer methods, especially in the domain of diagnostics, machine development, equipment development, etc., will become one of the important research domain in that hospital. I think this is a great move that is happening in one of the premier institutions of Indian Institute of Science, which I was a student there long back. But then the point is that the diagnostics become extremely important for Indian context, especially low-cost diagnostics. Techniques, for example, taking blood samples and analyzing and various other tracers that you can pick it. I think it is very, very important to look at it and how to bring down the cost of such processes and also do it in a very large scale through very simple equipments and methods that are going to be revolutionary. Some of the research happening in one of the lab in Indian Institute of Science, the lab is called SENSE Lab, which is a microelectronics lab, which they create very small chips where you have fluid pass, which will you admit the blood into it, it goes into multiple fluid pass and do the analysis and get the results in very short time. Some of them are really wonderful devices they have developed. I think integrating this data, then capturing this data into a medical system and then doctors advising them, it will be really a game changer in our context, in the Indian context. Specifically, if a local health care provider goes to societies and collect samples and do this testing right there in front of them, and then this data goes through an IoT system, possibly space also will come in collecting, picking this data through satellites, come to a servers, and then do the analysis and give them based on the databases available or the AI engine available, you provide them the advisory, what exactly could be wrong with you. It will be a really wonderful thing. I think doctors will become irrelevant in such a complex situation. It will be more of a scientist, engineer type of work. But I believe that the focus should shift into of course, there is a lot of work for doctors. I am not telling you that you will have job of different nature. I think that the nature of the job will change. That is happening to our domain as well. But then this becomes very important area of research. As Professor Dr. Sadullah mentioned about the R&D component in medical care is also equally important. I think this is something which is not getting attention at this moment. And really we are actually losing the focus where exactly is R&D needed. I think this is also an issue. One domain which I mentioned is the diagnostics and equipment design and development over a long period of time for medical care is one area which is very weak. Because if you look at the import content of our healthcare part, large part of the import content is still equipments. It mostly comes from outside only. There is hardly anything made. Recently, I was visiting one of the electronics manufacturing company in Bangalore. That company is manufacturing most of the medical care equipments, electronics hardware is made in Bangalore. And as cards and parts, it is made and shipped to a European country where they'll get assembled and packaged in this form and will come back branded as that equipment name. But it's made in India. Okay, so, but we don't understand that, we don't know what exactly is inside. But the sensors possibly coming from somewhere else. But then there is a huge amount of manufacturing of this taking place in India, but not branded as an Indian product yet. So this is one domain that we need to grow in the coming days, building equipments for medical care. It's slowly happening. I think this is slowly building up, but it's not really in a big way because fundamental work is not being done, especially in sensor development, signals analysis, and all those type of things. But hardware making is still possible. Similarly, on the basic research in the medicine also is something which is lacking. For example, the diagnostic equipments or tools, etc. also. I believe that everything we cannot be first, but I think this one area we can be first, which I mentioned in the beginning, is the AI and machine learning approaches. With a strong IT background in India, I think this domain, especially the domain of data analytics and providing NLP-based, natural language processing-based tools and solutions, I think this is going to be one of the important area that India can focus and develop capability in next 5-10 years of time, especially in the healthcare area, like many other areas. I think it's happening in agriculture in a big manner. AI is coming in terms of precision agriculture, seeding, pesticide control, etc. I'm aware of it. And AI is coming into many other domains as well. I think healthcare is one of the focus areas that has been identified by government. I believe some of the work that you should do in KIMS should also be focused on this aspect of it. I think you should recruit some people who will be good at data analytics and work on the huge amount of data that you are collecting out of patients to create some models so that you can help, the doctors can be helped by alternate suggestions other than their own experiential conclusions can be supplemented by the analytical solutions and suggestions provided by machine learning tool that will help them to start with. Possibly once they are trained enough, I think you should be in a position to take up more and more challenging assignments. Today, I think this machine electrophysiology unit is now inaugurated, but then I really understand that its role and importance is very, very significant for healthcare in the domain of people having issues with their heart. Recently, I was also on operating theatre for some other issues, so I came to understand the complex nature of the machines that play into human body. I was made safer by some interventions of that nature. And also the type of diagnostics that go into understanding this. It's really amazing to see the growth of medical care and technology interventions in this sector is really good. And KIMS is definitely a leader in it. Though it may be a very costly machine, I think you have played a very important, made an important decision today to bring it to India in this part of this country to help the patients. And the association with ISRO of KIMS has been very long-standing. I think you are one of the biggest patient care supporter of ISRO's patients in this part of the country, and that will continue. And I have been all the time when I was a director here, also always discussing with KIMS to make it more affordable to us, and also to make it to accessible to all of us. I think this they have been doing with the gracious support. It has been going very well. Thank you so much for that wonderful work. But more importantly is the research work that we do between ISRO and KIMS. Because of the strength that you have here in terms of the faculty, doctors and other support staff, you can do research here, really focused research can be done. But then investing in R&D is going to be, immediately won't see it as a return of investment, whether it will come. This is a major challenge many of the private institutions are facing today. This is again another topic which is currently under discussion in government. There is a new announcement called Anusandhan Research Foundation, which is currently announced as a 1 lakh crore budget in government, primarily funded through the governmental means as well as the private investment. I think this is something we should catch on. I think this discussion need to happen on how KIMS can source funding from such governmental schemes like the Anusandhan Research Foundation and create an R&D ecosystem in private hospital. So the research support is just not in the governmental system, but research should be encouraged in private domain is the primary focus of Anusandhan Research Foundation. And this must definitely, you should make some proposals in that regard. If you can work on it, where there a good R&D team can be identified, R&D topics can be identified, I think that will be a great journey for a hospital like this to add knowledge other than just healthcare alone to be provided. I wish all the very best to KIMS Health for this wonderful work that you have done, the new mission that has come, and my honor to be here to be a part of this inauguration. Thank you so much. Thank you.